already been a full year since the official release of the PlayStation 5. Even more unbelievable is the fact that it's still the most difficult console to find and buy currently, especially at the original retail price of $499.99 and $629.99 Canadian dollars for the digital and disc editions respectively. On sites like eBay, it's going for prices as high as $1,000, which to me is insane. The shortage of PS5s doesn't look to be going away anytime soon, so if you already have one, then you're one of the lucky ones. But if you don't, I'd suggest staying on the lookout and watching for drops, which happen all the time at stores like Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, and more. What's going on, y'all? It's Midas here, and around this time last year, I did an unboxing and setup video of my digital edition PlayStation 5, along with all the accessories that released with the PS5 at launch. Some of you might have seen that video. If you did, I'd like you guys to comment #watched it down below. This 1 year review of the PlayStation 5 should have been done a little bit earlier than now, I guess about 2-3 weeks before now. But you know, I just completed a move and that really got in the way of me making this video. At the time I created the first unboxing video, a lot of people were asking me why I went for the digital over the disc edition console. And to be honest, I still get the same question a year later. My answer now remains the same as it was then. I went for the digital console because it fits my specific needs perfectly. I prefer a smaller and more minimalist console, and considering the fact that I never used the disc drive on the PS4, I certainly didn't want it on the PS5. If you're wondering if there's any major difference between both console editions, there isn't. They're actually the same console internally. The only difference between them is that disc drive. Now that I've had the digital PS5 for a year, I'm ready to talk about all the positives and negatives I've experienced over that time frame. The PS5 is the largest console I've ever owned. The digital edition, of course, weighs a little less than the disc edition, but really not by much. It's a massive console, and when you compare it to its predecessor, the PS4, you really see the difference. I'm sure any of you that own one know what I'm talking about. I prefer to mount my console vertically to save space, and I personally think it looks better that way, but others prefer a horizontal placement, which is also possible, and I think it looks nice as well. From the first game I played on launch day up until now, I've been very impressed with game loading speeds, high resolution and high frame rate gameplay, and overall how super responsive and intuitive the entire system is. The PS5 has seen a few upgrades done to its user interface throughout the course of its first year, but it's nothing mind-blowing. One of the biggest flaws of the PS5 at launch and for the most part of the year has been the amount of storage space it provides right out of the box. A few months ago, this problem became a thing of the past with the release of the M.2 SSD storage expansion update. PS5 users now have access to the once locked M.2 SSD storage expansion slot for adding extra storage to the console up to 8 terabytes. Make sure to go ahead and check for the specifications before going ahead to purchase one of these SSDs. I'm going to link some down in the description if you guys are looking to pick up any of them. And I'm going to be doing a video on a new one that Samsung has just released with an inbuilt heatsink. PlayStation decided to change things up from the last 3 consoles by releasing a white console this time around. And this made a lot of people look for alternative ways to get the color configuration they want. I was personally super quick to switch out the white removable faceplates, which contributes the most to the overall look of the console. I ordered some dark plates from D-Brand along with the MKBHD red code sticker as soon as they were available. I had the original white plates on for the first 5 months I owned the PlayStation 5, and it's been about 7 months since I switched them out for the dark plates. I am over the red sticker, and so I took that off and made the console completely black, which I think looks really sick. I also decided to get one of the new black controllers to go with the console for that all black look. Speaking of controllers, the DualSense controllers were probably the most hyped accessory to launch with the PS5, and to be honest, it was with good cause. No one who's experienced the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback on the DualSense controllers can deny that they're pretty cool, and not to mention increase how immersive gameplay can be. At launch, PlayStation launched the standard black and white controllers by themselves with no options to choose from. So a lot of people, including me, decided to modify the color with aftermarket parts instead. Halfway through its first year, PlayStation launched 2 new colorways to join the standard edition, the Midnight Black and Cosmic Red. Of course, there's no difference in how the controllers work, but a lot of people seem to prefer the black controller the most since it goes well with an all-black PS5 setup, which a lot of people have been switching to over the course of the year, at least from what I've noticed. The DualSense controllers aren't the only accessories you can get for the PS5. PlayStation also launched its own 3D headset, a wireless charging dock that can hold and charge 2 controllers, a PlayStation camera that I'm expecting to work with the PSVR 2, and lastly, a media remote control. I initially got the Pulse 3D headset by PlayStation, but after the first week of using it, I realized how uncomfortable they can be around the ears and how cheaply made they feel. I eventually switched to the SteelSeries Arctis 7P, and I've never looked back since. It has everything I need, and I can even use it with other systems like PC, Android, and even the Nintendo Switch. The wireless charging dock for the controllers is probably my second favorite official accessory after the controllers. It's got a super clean and minimalist look to it. It only comes in white and black, but I've seen people use adhesive wraps or paint to change the color to what suits them more. I never changed mine. I recently just got these clean looking Razer super fast charging docks to replace my dual charging dock. There's no reason I got them other than for the minimalist look. They are color coded to the different DualSense controller colors, even the Cosmic Red DualSense. I'll warn you that they're pricier than the double DualSense dock at $50.99 Canadian dollars a piece. As for availability of games, there hasn't been any that's rocked my boat personally. In fact, there hasn't been many releases yet, but that's going to change a lot in the coming years. There's been some really good releases like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and more. For me personally, I've enjoyed only a few of those titles. The majority of games you can play on the PS5 are just better versions of their PS4 versions, like the new 60 FPS mode in The Last of Us 2, or they just tend to be super short like Ratchet & Clank or Spider-Man Miles Morales. I've been playing a lot more PS4 titles like The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and more throughout the year. I'm really looking forward to next year's highly anticipated releases like Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Forspoken, and possibly, and I say possibly, Hogwarts. 2023 is poised to be dominated by Insomniac Games as they release Spider-Man 2 and the first Wolverine game. Get that, the first Wolverine game. And I can't tell you guys how hyped I am for these titles, especially based on how good Insomniac Games have been so far from my experience. If you're just getting a PS5 for the first time now, you should know that you have access to 25 of the best PS4 games for free through the PlayStation Plus collection. So you might have heard about that, but the PS Plus collection is still active right now, so it doesn't matter if you're just getting your PS5 for the first time, you still have access to it. Although the PS5 is an extremely powerful system with a lot of features, it's still lacking some key ones. I don't know about you guys, but I still need 1440p compatibility when using a monitor that supports the resolution. Instead, we get a super sampled 4K image on the screen, which, I guess works. But I definitely prefer to have a native 1440p resolution when gaming on one of the supported monitors. After 1 year of using the PS5, my final verdict on it is that the digital console is powerful and was a great buy for me based on my lack of need for using or trading discs. I haven't once missed that disk drive in that time and don't think I ever will. Instead, I've enjoyed keeping a minimalist gaming setup. I believe the PS5 has the potential to become even better over time with the addition of new features, new PS5 games, and the PSVR 2. Comment down below which one you're most excited for next year. I'd also love to know which console edition you own if you have one, and what your experience has been with it so far. There's not much else to say about the PS5 right now, but I plan to keep updating you all as new features and accessories are released throughout next year. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, join the family, and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you all in my next one. It's Midas, and I'm out, y'all.